What's going on, everybody? I just recorded an intro and like 20 minutes of content, and I didn't plus record for any of it. So I'm gonna give you guys a little run up of what I've been doing. So working on the Mazda RX-7 today, doing some stuff to get it ready to start. Okay, so that's the old fuel. Luckily there's a drain plug on the gas tank for these. So there's that old nasty fluid. I don't think the color is supposed to be orange. It smells like crap. It smells like really strong nail polish remover or something. It's horrible. I hate that smell. This is the fuel pump. It's actually not as bad as I thought. Stuff going on here. Obviously that fuel pump's gonna get replaced. This will get replaced. All of this is gonna have to get cleaned up before I put it back in. But this is not horrible. I thought I'd need a whole new hanger, but looks like I can get away with just cleaning this one up. So that's what it looks like. Grimy, man. That's what 20 plus years of being stored with a tank with fuel in it is gonna do to your fuel pump. Inside the car here, went through the access panel, took off the fuel lines here, and got the fuel pump out. This was kind of a nightmare. All the screws were really rusty. I sprayed them that day with PB Blaster, and then I came back today. I was able to get 2 of them out. The other ones, as you can see, I had to drill them out. Obviously, drilling is not ideal for your fuel tank because it gets hot. It can spark, cause a fire. I had not much of a choice, so I had a fire extinguisher here ready on standby just in case. But I was careful with it. I didn't let it get too hot. Drilled them right out. I do want to clean this out because it is kind of nasty. I don't think I need a new tank, but I definitely have to clean it. Most of it looks like surface stuff. I'll find out once I try to clean it. So I'm kind of debating right now whether I want to drop the tank and clean it out and get the rest of the fuel out, or stick my pressure washer in there and try pressure washing it all off. The only thing is, if I pressure wash it still mounted, it's going to leave some water in there, which is going to dry and probably rust, which I'm not looking forward to because I don't want that to happen. Very easy to drop this fuel tank as long as the rust isn't too bad, which is kind of bad in this car, so that should be fun. After that access panel, you got to come over here, take that off. That's the filler neck and a breather hose. Disconnect both of these. And then from underneath the car, I'd have to pretty much remove these 2 straps. This strap right here, this strap right here, and it should drop right down. So very easy. I'm gonna do that right now. Don't know how much of it I'm gonna be able to record, but I'm gonna mount the camera here on the side, I think, and see if I can get you guys an image. Otherwise, I'm gonna drop it real quick here and then show you. All right, boys, so fuel tank is out. It came out okay, I guess. So there's this little heat shield that's at the back of the fuel tank. It's over there towards the front of the car. There's 2 more on the sides. Those don't need to come out, but the one that's in front of the fuel tank towards the front of the car does need to come out. It has 4 10mm bolts holding it in. That's these ones right here. Remove those 2 straps I was talking about, and this is where I had the trouble. So as you can see, I have 1 of those bolts that was holding in one of the straps. The other one is not here. I'll show you where it is in a second. This was on there very hard. I have a really good impact. Barely got this off, so I'll show you what happened with the other one. That one was not fun to deal with. So this is the strap that came out okay. This strap I had to cut, and I will explain in a second why I had to cut it. I'm gonna get underneath the car and show you. Okay, so going underneath the car, this is the strap I had to cut right here. And the reason I had to cut it was because it's bolted up right here on this side. And when I loosened it, that's a bolt right there. When I loosened that bolt, the bolt is loose, but where it bolts into on the other side of this bracket, I think it broke from there. So I don't know how I'm gonna get this bolt out. I'm probably gonna have to cut it or something, but it broke in there, which is very unfortunate because this whole bracket is welded on. So I wasn't gonna be able to deal with that with the tank in the way. So I kind of just made a executive decision to cut it, because this strap, I'm pretty sure I can get it off a parts car or something and just put a new one in. That shouldn't be expensive, I would imagine. I'm probably gonna have to cut that bolt out, to be honest. So I'm gonna deal with that shortly. But in the meantime, what I'm gonna do first is deal with my rusty fuel tank. Even this, look at this filler neck. This is just rusted, man. Everything on this car is gonna be going like this. I can just tell everything is gonna be rusted and terrible to deal with underneath here, which I am not used to. Look at this. God damn. But I got the fuel tank out. It's right here. I pressure washed it a little bit. And I did some Google research to figure out how to get this rust off. I want to clean it the best I can. What I'm going to try to do is use this here. So I just ran to Walmart. I picked up all of this for $12. Just regular white vinegar, table salt, and baking soda. So basically vinegar will eat away at rust. So I'm going to pour pretty much all of this in there, let it sit for a few hours, maybe overnight. I'm not sure yet. I don't want to leave it in there longer than I have to be honest. I'll mix it in with some table salt because that makes it more acidic apparently. So it was worth a try. And then baking soda afterwards is just to neutralize the vinegar that's left in the tank. I'm gonna rinse it with baking soda and water and see how that works out. I'm also gonna put this fuel pump in a bucket, pour some vinegar in there and see how much of this I can get cleaned up. I'm gonna do that right now as well. Off camera, what I also did right now was ordered a new fuel pump and sock and everything. I got that from Rock Auto. I'll show you guys that once it gets here in a few days. I didn't want to order that until I had this pump out so I could take a look at everything I needed. So there were some different options on there. I chose one of the more expensive ones because it had the sock that was exact same like this. Some of the other ones had a different looking sock. I wanted to keep it all the same, so whatever. That's the one I got. And yeah, I'm gonna clean all of this up too. That is messed up, man. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna submerge this in vinegar and same with the tank. I also ordered some spark plugs so I can change the spark plugs in this. I'm gonna go buy some oil. I'm gonna drain the oil that's left in this car right now as well. Whatever's left in there. I checked the dipstick a few days ago. It was bone dry and there is some oil leaking. So I think whatever oil is left in there is just what's left in the oil pan and it's just not much at all, but I'm gonna drain that out right now. So I hope my leaks here aren't as bad as they seemed. That drain plug, I got it loose with one hand, just laying here like this, and I was like, and it came loose. So it was barely tight. It wasn't even snug. I don't know if it loosened over time from being parked for 20 plus years, or I don't think that would really happen because all the other bolts are pretty much seized. I think it was just a very, very, very loose drain plug. Maybe that's caused all the leaks. I really hope so. I know there's going to be some other leaks anyways that need to be addressed, but for the oil pan one, I'm just hoping it was a loose drain plug. Let's see what comes out of here. Wow. So yeah, we got maybe one drop falling out. Bone dry. That's wild, man. That is so wild. Guess I can just put this drain plug back on. I want to change out that seal. I have a new one. I'll put that on there before I put that back on. Okay, I've been fighting with this car for the last like 2 hours. So after I drained all that oil out, I put some new oil in just to get some oil in the motor, let it work its way down, lubricate things up a bit because obviously this car hasn't seen a drop of oil in years. And what I wanted to do now is, okay, let me show you what I was doing. I didn't record any of it. I was just kind of into it and it was giving me problems. I just put the camera down and I was like, I'll show you guys at the end. So here's what I've been doing for the last 2 hours. Okay, so I got the clutch fan off and the fan shroud off. Fan shroud's right there. And then the belts, so they're pretty easy to take off, luckily. There's a lot of belts. I think there's 4 of them, which is more than most cars, I guess. So I pretty much just loosen these, move the pulleys a bit, remove those belts, loosen this up, move the alternator, remove that belt, loosen up that bolt so I could move this around and remove that belt because I wanted to turn the motor by hand and I thought maybe I should do it with the belts off in case the belts were making it harder for me to turn it by hand. So I haven't actually taken the spark plugs off yet. Actually, I took off one. I'll explain that in a second. So I put a breaker bar on here with a socket, and I tried turning it, and it won't budge at all. It's not turning, which has got me a bit worried. I hope the motor's good. I feel like it should be turning. Maybe it's just so dry and rusty inside that it doesn't want to turn. It shouldn't be seized because this car was running when he parked it, but maybe over the years something happened. I don't know, but that's where I'm at right now. So I can't turn it by hand. What I started to do was disconnect the spark plugs. I removed one of the spark plugs, and if you can see the tip, it's kind of rusty and stuff, which is probably normal, I guess, after all these years. 3 more to do, and they're a pain in the rear end to get out, man, because those of you with these cars, it's like right, like way down there. So I was trying to get at it from up here. I took the shield off. I was trying to get it from underneath, and that's pretty much where I'm at right now. And I'm probably gonna call it a day here right now, to be honest, because I'm just tired. It's getting so late in the day, and I don't want to deal with this car anymore today. Later this week, sometime maybe after work or something, when I have some time, I'll take off the remaining 3 spark plugs and spray some Marvel Mystery Oil or something in there, let it sit for a while, and turn the engine and see if it'll turn. So if it doesn't turn, I have absolutely no idea what I'm gonna do. I guess I need a full rebuild or something on the rotary. We'll just have to see. I don't want to go that route right now if I don't have to. I want to see if I can get this motor running, and if it doesn't need a rebuild, I definitely don't want to do one. So I'm going to try everything I can first to see if that motor will turn, and then if it doesn't turn, then we'll go the rebuild route or whatever else. But I don't want to do anything else to this car until I know that motor is good. So I'll continue this video in a couple days when I'm back working on this car. Okay, so we're back. It's another day. I got those damn spark plugs out. Probably spent an hour doing that. I'll show you in a second what they look like. I put some Marvel Mystery Oil in all of the spark plug holes, and I'm gonna let that sit for a few hours before I try turning the motor over by hand. Let me show you what the spark plugs look like real quick. These 2 weren't that hard to get out. These were on the left side if you're looking at the car from the driver's side fender. These 2 were so bad and so hard to get out, and just look. What? I've never had so much trouble getting spark plugs out in my life. It's all because of the location. So while the Marvel Mystery Oil is doing its thing, I'm gonna show you guys what's going on with the gas tank. So I put all that vinegar in that I showed you guys a few days ago, rinsed it all out, and it looked actually really, really good. It got a lot of crud out and a lot of that surface rust out, and then I used my pressure washer. I have like an industrial pressure washer here. I used that and I sprayed inside the gas tank as much as I could, and it got a lot of stuff out, but there was still some left and my OCD was kicking in, and I was like, how often am I gonna have this gas tank out? So I wanted to clean it properly. I don't know if it makes a difference or not, but I went to a supply store near me and I got 7% vinegar. That's the one I got. It's 7%. It's a little bit stronger than the stuff you find at the grocery store. That's just 5%. So I filled, this is 20 liters. I put pretty much all of it in here, and it's been working away for about 24 hours now exactly. So what I'm gonna do is dump some of that vinegar out, and then I purchased these stones from the dollar store, and I'm gonna throw these in there and then shake it around as much as I can. It's kind of hard with a tank this big, but I'm gonna shake it around as much as I can to see if I can take off some more rust. The reason I'm using stones, I know most people use bolts and nuts and stuff like that, but I feel like it's easy for that stuff to get caught up in certain areas of the gas tank. This is gonna be a lot easier to remove because they're just kind of circular. I don't know, I'm sure it'll work. The tank isn't too bad anyway, so I'm pretty optimistic, but I'm gonna mount the camera up and I'm gonna dump some of this vinegar out and see if I can get you guys a view of how it looks. Okay, that got so much out, and there's still so much rust floating around in there. So I left some vinegar in there still because I want to leave it in there while I throw the rocks around. So that's what I'm going to do now. It's kind of hard to do that on camera, but I'm gonna try. All of this is with the second vinegar treatment. The first one was even more than this. So this is how much I got out the second time. So what I'm gonna do now is I've been pressure washing it and rinsing it. I probably did it like 4 or 5 times. As far as I can see, most of the rust is out, but I'm gonna do another rinse with baking soda just to neutralize the vinegar that's in there. I'm gonna rinse it a couple more times. And then what I'll do is use some WD-40 or some sort of other oil and just get it in the gas tank just to treat the metal. Otherwise, from what I understand, it can flash rust. So here's a quick preview. I don't know if you'll be able to see inside, but it looks pretty good. There are some holes that lead back there. I don't know how well that is cleaned out, honestly. I'm guessing not too great, but I don't really have much I can do with that, so might just send it like this. Okay, I think I'm done with this tank. Either way, I'm not doing anything else because I am tired, man. Shaking this thing around and rinsing it and all that stuff was a workout. I don't know if you guys can get a good look, but at the top there's still some, but whatever, man. What am I supposed to do? Not too shabby. Okay, so fuel tank's done. Still have to wait a few hours for the Marvel oil to work itself. I'll probably pick up this video in a couple days again. What I'm also gonna be doing pretty soon here, maybe in the next clip, is changing my fuel pump. So let me show you what that's looking like right now. I've been working on this a little bit off camera as well. Oh, this is just the gel that showed up at the bottom there. There's a screw here completely rusted and welded itself. I had to drill it out, so whatever. Anyways, this is pretty much free. Like, this will come out now. So I got a new fuel pump. I'm gonna put that in. I got rid of most of the rust that was in here. There's still a little bit left, which I'll get out. Once I have the fuel pump out, it'll be easier. So I'll do it at that time. And this is a bit better than it was, believe it or not. This had even more rust than what you can see right now. So I think the plan is to remove the fuel pump and everything, and then just let this drench in some vinegar for a night or two as well. Give it a scrub. That should be all. So anyways, I'm gonna continue this video off in a couple days. I'm gonna put that fuel tank outside in the sun where it can get some air and dry so it doesn't rust. I'll spray some WD-40 in there before I do that. I'll see you guys in a couple days. Okay, so we're back at it. So where I left this video off last week, I said I just put some Marvel mystery oil in the spark plug holes there, and I was gonna let it sit for a few days and then try cranking this engine over. So I actually came here one of the nights after work during the week, and I put a breaker bar on the crank bolt and I tried turning it. It didn't even budge a little bit. So that was a little worrisome. I went home, I did some research and spoke to some guys. I have a friend who's saved a lot of trucks that had been sitting in fields for years and years. And he said as long as the motor's seized from sitting, there is a way to break it free. It's called the motor freezes or something from sitting so long. So there is a way to free it as long as it's not like seized from damage. And he said the way to do it is fill the whole engine up with diesel in the where the oil filler is. Like open the oil fill cap, fill it up with diesel to the rim, let it sit for 2 days, let it sit for a week, maybe 2 weeks, see what works and if it breaks loose. So that's what I did. I figured there's no harm in trying, because if this motor isn't turning, it's going to need a rebuild anyways. And before I do rebuild it, I want to exhaust all options first, because sooner or later it'll need a rebuild, I know. And I'm okay with that. I know it'll need a rebuild sooner or later, but I don't want to do a rebuild right away. If I can get this thing running for even 1 season, I want to do that just so I can see what else it needs. Eventually this motor is going to come out, this car is going to get completely restored, but if I can get it running for at least a season or a few months, I can find out what else it needs, because it's hard to just look at something and see if it needs to be replaced or not. So I do want to get it running. So it's been sitting now for, today's the 3rd day with diesel. So I'm going to mount the camera, I'm going to try turning it, and you guys are going to witness it with me, whether this thing turns or not. If it doesn't, then I'm gonna leave it for another week and try again. Yeah, man, if this thing doesn't turn at all, then we're gonna have to sit down and have a conversation and see what the next plan is with this thing. So anyways, I'm gonna set you guys down and see if I can turn this motor. I'm out of breath. I tried pretty hard, and she doesn't budge, man. Not even a little bit. I'm gonna wait a full week before doing anything else. Okay, so this video is getting way too long, so I'm probably just gonna end it short. The purpose of this video was kind of a fail because the motor didn't turn and I couldn't try to start it. I guess that's expected. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of hurdles like this one with this car. So I am gonna end this video here because I don't wanna wait another week to add more content to this video. Over the course of the week, I'm gonna try turning the motor again, and then I'll see you guys back here in about a week's time, and I'll let you know what's going on with the motor, if it's gonna turn or not, or if I'm pulling it or whatever else. Fuel pump is pretty much ready to go. So I'm gonna show you guys where the fuel pump's at, and then after I put the camera down here, I'm just gonna install the new fuel pump parts. There's gonna be no point of this if that motor doesn't turn, but I wanna get the new parts on the fuel pump anyways. So I'm just gonna end this video off with showing you guys the new fuel pump I got, how my fuel pump hanger is looking now. You guys saw how crusty it was before with all the rust, so I cleaned it up with vinegar and a Scotch Brite pad and whatever else, so it looks a lot better. So let me show you guys. So this is a fuel pump kit I got. It comes with a bunch of stuff that you can use as well. It comes with a new sock. This was from Rock Auto. It is one of the more expensive ones, but I wanted this kind of sock. There's some other ones that have like the flat one. I wanted the exact same one that was in the car already, so that's why I got this. And this is the Denso brand. So that's what I'm gonna do. The fuel pump's just down there. Beauty. So this should be a direct replacement, which simplifies things quite a bit. Got the fuel pump hanger sitting right here. As you can see, pretty much flawless. It looks kind of oily right now because I drenched it in some WD-40. What WD-40 does is prevents it from flash rusting, because if you just dip it in vinegar and get rid of all that rust and then just rinse it off and leave it, it'll flash rust. Some sort of chemical like that will usually prevent it, so that's why it's kind of oily right now. This is what the top looks like. It's not perfect. You can see those dark spots. That is surface rust though. That just didn't come off with the vinegar, but most of it came off. Like, look up, that looks pretty damn good. Maybe I'll take a wire wheel to this afterwards, but I'm not trying to be completely too crazy with it. I can't even do this when it's in the car. So I did quite a bit of it and it looks a lot better than it did, and it's definitely usable now. So that's good news. Anyway, sorry if this video was kind of uneventful and a big letdown. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of letdowns with this car, but that's okay. As long as this motor turns, things will be all right. So next video, hopefully it's me telling you that this motor does turn and I'm not having to pull it out. Otherwise, we're gonna have a conversation of plans with this car if this motor is seized completely. So anyways, I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.